Oh, this is Joe Wayne, your unverified guy, reporting directly, not quite live, but almost, from the unverified nation. Welcome to all of the subs that are still here. I know a lot of you guys are upset over the videos that were posted the last couple of days. Yeah, those border wall or those border slash fence videos, and we're going to be commenting on all of the negative comments about those videos and why the independent unverified guy has to make those videos, regardless if it hurts the feelings of the true Trump believers. I love Trump's promises and want to push them into fruition more than any of you. I also have to keep him honest so that he does indeed keep those promises. But I digress. The reason we're here this morning, or currently, the reason we're here watching and listening to Joe Wayne commenting on this video, commenting on this story, it's the Syria story, and it's, of course, a story. Hopefully, if he does not change his mind again, hopefully it's a story of another promise kept. Because I love his promises, but I want to help him to help himself to keep those promises. So if you guys are longtime viewers of this show, then you'll realize that I, number one, I believe in the non-aggression principles. First and foremost, you do no harm. All of the countries that we have no business being in, it's not our backyard. Places like Syria, Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran, the entirety of the Middle East has not one thing to do with us. Except for, of course, because of the petrodollar, we have been the world's police since the 1950s, ever since the Bretton Woods agreements, basically put the good old US of A as the top cop of the world. And again, we were forced to do that because of the petrodollar and our supremacy over the world because of the petrodollar. So, as we move on with the story today, Trump's critics, and the story is coming directly, of course, from Breitbart. Trump's critics call for removal from office over Syria withdrawal. Now, we know a lot of the usual suspects. We know a lot of the people who shouldn't be usual suspects on, on U.S. hegemony around the world. Okay, during the 60s and 70s and 80s and 90s, hell, every time that a Democrat was not in office, right, we would hear the Dems scream and cry and do all of the anti-war protest. And I agreed with them, and I still agree with them. But they don't agree with themselves any longer. Now, they're all in on all wars as long as Trump is, as long as the deep state, the neocons, and the neoliberals tell them to be pro-war. They're not actually anti-war or pro-war. They just do as they are told. Large majority of the mouthpieces on the mainstream media megaphone are paid to have that opinion and to force it on the world and to bring all of us, to heel into their way of thinking, their paid way of thinking. Critics of President Trump, as we go on, critics of President Trump's decision Thursday to withdraw U.S. troops from Syria have begun to call for his removal from office, with the one even referring to a military coup. And of course, that's Eric Erickson, the conservative pundit, never Trumper, who rallied to the president's side during the fight over the Supreme Court justice. And why did he rally? Because Kavanaugh, as we know now, as we knew then, was a Bush appointee, was a Bush aide, right? He was the one that wrote the memos on waterboarding and things like that. You know, the memos that supposedly give whatever administration cover to do their dirty deeds. Now, Kavanaugh was one of those dirty deed doers, and that's the reason why Eric Erickson, neocon, that's the reason basically he supported Kavanaugh, because he was a Bush appointee. And Bush, like Clinton, well, Bush is a neocon, Clinton a neoliberal. Bush just couldn't wait to get us into wars and to kill whoever he needed to kill to keep his family on top of the ruling bloodlines. Yeah, that's here in America. And he did that. And they all do that. They all do exactly what they need to do to push war all the time. Because unlike we the people, they're benefiting off of constant war. The number one way they're benefiting off of constant war is that none of them, folks, you need to research some of my videos, none of these animals, none of them can be really called to justice during time of war. It's a little known clause in one of the amendments. Now, Eric Erickson, neocon un extraordinaire. He was with Trump. Now he's not with Trump, because now Trump is factually, I hope, completing one of his main campaign promises. You know, beside the wall, well, number 2, I believe, or number 3, was bringing our troops home. Bringing our troops home and stop funding and stop rebuilding, the Middle East. We need to rebuild the infrastructure of the U.S., not the Middle East. Ellie Lake, a columnist for Bloomberg who defended former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn from charges of treason earlier this week, suggested that the Senate should vote to remove Trump from office because of his decision in Syria. Presumably, in the event of Democrats impeach the president upon taking power next year. The common thread among these critics appeared to be the conviction that Trump could not govern without the help from experienced hands like Secretary of Defense Jim Mattis, who in fact resigned yesterday. So General Mattis and the rest of the neocons, if they can't kill as many human beings as they want to enrich their coffers, to fatten their wallets, to support their government, military contractors, and the military-industrial complex, if they can't do that, then they're going to take their shit and they're going to go home, right? And that's exactly what Mattis is doing as we move on to the next story. General Jim Mattis resigns as Secretary of Defense, leaving in February. And of course, the story is coming again from Breitbart.com. President Donald Trump announced on Thursday that Secretary of Defense General Jim Mattis would be retiring in February. General Jim Mattis will be retiring with distinction at the end of February. After having served my administration as Secretary of Defense for the past 2 years, Trump announced on Twitter. News of Mattis' departure broke hours after the president ordered all United States troops to be withdrawn from Syria, despite protests from top military advisors. Other military advisors expressed fear on Thursday that Trump would order the withdrawal of troops from Afghanistan in a similar manner. Mattis released his resignation letter because, of course, he had to virtue signal to all of the neocons, all of the neoliberals, all of the deep state, all of the never Trumpers. So that's what he did. Wow. Who knew Mad Dog was an SJW? Yeah, I guess the neocons did and the deep state did. We the people did not. Moving on. So he announced his resignation on Twitter, of course, because Twitter is they're part of that CIA social club, that CIA social checkmark club, where all the neocons and all the neoliberals and all the deep state members and all the mainstream media mouthpieces, all the special people, all that because really, folks, as I digress for 1 minute, speaking about Twitter, Twitter is nothing more and nothing less than the class system, right? Now, if you have one of the blue check marks, well, you're in a better class than the unverified, right? If you're verified, then you're one of the chosen few. And all it does, folks, is continue the animosity between the classes. The class warfare that the Democrats and apparently the neocons love. The deep state just loves to keep that class warfare going. Because most of the people that in that war, in the upper blue check mark club, yeah, they work for them. Because you have a right to have a secretary, Mattis goes on in his resignation letter, because you have a right to have a secretary of defense whose views are better aligned with yours. These and other subjects, I believe it is right for me to step down. See, of course, he has to virtue signal with this resignation letter. The general also expressed his support for sustaining the defeat of ISIS coalition overseas in his letter, as well. And I'm not going to go on with this stupid virtue signaling letter. I'll leave it here in the description bar for you guys to tear apart at your discretion. But, Jesus Christ. What is the matter with these people? They think that this Earth, this schoolyard called planet Earth, is here for their benefit. Hey, guess what, Mad Dog? Guess what, neocons, neoliberals? Guess what, elitists around the globe? You can't take it with you. For a very good reason. None of this shit is real. You're being tested. Everything you say or do is a test. And all of you individuals that believe this earth is here for your benefit, to get whatever you can get and to pass on to your family members, right? Whatever you have stolen from we the people by illicit means, right? Can't take it with you for a reason. This is a schoolyard. This is a test. It's always a test. You elitists always fail. You New World Order members always fail the test. And just like Rockefeller, you too, Mattis, is about to meet the great equalizer we call death. You're about to pass the veil. And, yeah, in my opinion, because I've never passed the veil, so I can't tell you for a fact, but in my opinion, in my hopes and dreams, there you will be judged, and you will go no further. You'll be pushed into that deep, dark abyss, that lifeless abyss of the hell that you have created yourself from the decisions that you have made here on Schoolyard Planet Earth. And with that being said, I think I have said enough on this issue. Guys, please go to the Unverified Guy channel. It's the new channel. It's the channel It's a channel that doesn't have the Eye of Sauron on it just yet. So hopefully it's a channel that we can grow and we can communicate on without being censored and silenced by the neocons, the neoliberals, big tech, the globalists. I mean, just take your pick, man. The wolves are out for free speech. The wolves are out for our Second Amendment. The wolves are out to make sure we stay killing all around the world as many as we can kill, at our will for our own personal agendas. Enough is enough. Enough of the censorship, enough of the killing, enough of the lies. Keep those promises, Trump, and you'll be the greatest president this country has ever known. This is Joe Wayne with the ACP 313, the Anti-COINTELPRO Show YouTube channel, and the new unverified guy reporting directly, not quite so live, from the unverified nation. This is Joe Wayne. Good day and good luck.